Thanks, it is pretty good.
Tick-tock, time to rock.
Rock and roll.
Good to see you, brother. Good to see you.
Hey,
It's
you
always
too.
a pleasure. Always a pleasure to see my brother from the United States of America. Unfortunately, we are just a panel of two this evening, unless we get a sneak little jump in by Brad, but it's just you and I, bro.
Can we call him Bradley since he's not here?
I'm not going to call him that because he's closer to me than he is to you.
I know. He can get to you faster.
and he's a cage fighter.
I know.
So
I was watching some videos of him and his 80s band, and he plays a pretty good slash, but he's on stage with the sleeveless shirt, and I think he needs a concealed weapons permit for those guns.
Mate, aren't we lucky? Aren't we lucky to have such a cool guy joining us? And we got to be careful because we don't want him to get a swollener head. It's very difficult for him to get through doorways as it is already.
Exactly. That slash top hat won't fit him if we keep it up.
The last job where he's working at the moment, they had to go and extend all the doors by half a meter. So Brad's he's going to kill us.
We got a rope tied down with a rope.
Heck, man, he's going to kill us. D-Tube, how's it going, brother? Hey, before we get into the show, we've got to make a rule. If I can't make a show or you can't make a show, it's standard. It's mandatory practice to give at least the missing co-host a bit of grief.
Sure, that's right. Absence. He's absent, so you pay the price. Let's just hope he's not listening in the car.
Well, he's working. He's working, actually, so it's pretty serious.
Oh, yeah. He's got to pay the bills.
Look, seriously, yeah. If anybody, D-Tube and anyone else who's watching the show, we've got 5 people watching. Look, yeah, of course, it's a serious thing. Family come first, and also work, and otherwise, we'll be here on our scheduled shows. And I suppose that probably leads us into Kurt for you to tell us what's happening for the next show.
Yeah, well, one of the reasons why Andrew and I are joining you guys tonight is, of course, in a couple days we were supposed to do Women and Children First, right? But I have a huge opportunity to take my wife away for the weekend to a town called Leavenworth. It's a Bavarian town up in the mountains, and we're going away on Friday night, Saturday, just the two of us. It's been a year since we've had the ability to go away, just the two of us. So no kids. So Andrew, being the kind gentleman that he is, said, well, let's move the show to next week. And he didn't want to do it without me, which I really appreciate. But I thought, why not just get together tonight and share a little love? That way we don't, lose any subscribers because, they're not getting their 5150 fix. The channel's doing really well. And, we did the DiMarzio show here a couple weeks ago during the middle of the week, and it got quite a few views. So I bet you tonight we'll get quite a few views as well. So it won't be a long show, but we got plenty to talk about.
Yeah, and you know, we've got Ellen in the chat saying, "Wait till Brad watches the show." So she's made. She knows.
I won't be around.
She knows we're going to be in trouble for that one. We've got Nelson, who is firmly becoming a regular to the show, so we appreciate it. And D-Tube. So look, we'll always try and do shout-outs as we can during the show, but look, I think Kurt's hit the nail on the head. You know, family comes first, and, you know, 12 months is a long time, and we know the reason why, because of what's been happening. So if anybody gets a shot or a chance to get away and spend some quality time together, you know, that's always going to come first. And the show we'll always postpone any scheduled show, I think. That's my opinion, and I'm talking out live, Kurt. Anything we've got planned between the three of us, if we can't make it, we'll just hold it back, and then we'll just jump on and just find a brief topic to talk about. I think that's the fairest way.
No, I appreciate it for sure, and I'm sure the fans do as well. You know, they're all human and they understand, and you know, we aim to please, right?
Yeah. And look, I've got to give you credit where credit's due. You know, Kurt's not going to say it, but I will, and that's my job as a co-host. Kurt is developing a reputation in the Van Halen community as someone that has a lot of information and opinions on Van Halen. So we're lucky. Our show is lucky to have Kurt, because that's why he's the Rev. That's why he's here with us. Kurt loves sharing and talking about Van Halen. He makes every opportunity he can on previous shows to talk about that. But the good thing about it is that all you have to do is subscribe to the channel, and you can watch it for free and get how many years worth of Van Halen knowledge in that head of yours, Kurt? 30 years?
Over 30 years. I'm 43. And I've been a fan since I was 8. So
yeah,
I don't know. I take it seriously. I messaged Greg Renoff today, asking him a question, preparing for the next show on Women and Children First. So like that's how serious I take it.
Wow.
Hopefully he responds back to me.
Yeah. And I suppose this might be a good opportunity, bro, to talk about some of the plans that we have for the show. You know, we're in touch with a couple of other authors as well, and we're making contact. Kurt made contact with a guy that's got over 400 guitars, who's a Van Halen nut. And no, we're not talking about Rob Johnson. It's I don't know how Kurt found this guy, but this guy's just
He found me.
Okay. Well, you see, all roads point to Kurt 5150. All right, if you're a Van Halen fan.
So, real quick, Andrew, I won't spoil it because he said he would come on the show. So, as soon as we get done doing all the albums, we'll schedule a time for this gentleman to be on the show. He literally lives 3 miles south of me, so he lives in Portland, which I go there frequently for my job. So him and I are gonna hook up and have coffee together. Sammyhagar sang in his wedding. And he has, like Andrew said, 400 plus guitars, and at least 10 of them are ones that Eddie owned. And he also has a original PV 5150 head and cabinet striped that Eddie used on tour for Unlawful Carnal Knowledge.
Oh, I'm speechless.
Incredible. And I just started chatting with him on Sunday. So I can't wait to get him on. And I told him, we'll let you indulge what you want to indulge, but we just want to hear your story and let you tell your passion. Because obviously he's he has a passion. He called it a life-altering hobby.
I'm not going to swear, but wow. Wow. Look, I just get blown away when I find and hear these stories and make these connections. When people just fall in love with a band or a type of music or guitars. I just read a brief article quickly today, Kurt. It was on the Guitar World website that the last 12 months it's been great for business for guitar retailers, because people have gone out and they've had the time and they've gone out and they've bought guitars, bro, to finally, or if they're not going overseas, whatever money they've put aside for vacations or trips, they're spending on guitars. So music's a great thing. We got Cobra Kai in the chat.
Cobra Kai, there's my man. Yeah, so Andrew, I read another article. It wasn't from Guitar World, but online sales are up. A majority of these people are at home and stuck in their den or in their basement. So they're going back to guitars. And I'm telling you, I'm a victim of that, because a year ago, I only had 2 guitars, and since this whole pandemic and the whole Eddie Van Halen thing, I've upped my passion and really ramped it up and got it going. And Cobra Kai gives me a hard time because he says I move too fast when it comes to.
I saw that comment. Look, guys. I may not participate much in the Johnny Bean Discord, but I do stalk there. I lurk.
You do lurk.
Yeah,
I can't get in past you. I'm gonna have to make a dummy account just so I can get past Andrew. But EVH is up 83% since Eddie's passing. So those of you who are in the business of growth, 83% is off the charts numbers.
I suppose this is probably a good time to then talk about the price of some of these EVH guitars. Now, I flicked a message to Brad, asking Brad why he thought. Hold on, guys. Why he thought. I don't know if that's going to show it. Okay, so there's a guitar, a Musicman EVH, on sale in Australia for $24,000. That's phenomenal.
Incredible. And those of you in the chat, I normally only have a handful of you, but type in some numbers of some EVH guitars you've seen either on eBay, Reverb, or any kind of guitar sale platform that you were blown away on. A buddy of mine I follow. He does a couple of YouTube shows, and he did a quick internet search on some Peaveys, Ernieballs, EVHs, and even the Peaveys and the EVHs are way up. Just a Peaveywolfgang special is going for $3-4 grand.
Yeah. It's just one of those interesting things, those interesting phenomena that happens when somebody passes that's related to a product. It's and look, I'll be fair. We can sit here and go, well, that's crazy, but that's the market. And if someone's got $24,000 in Australia who wants to pay to have a piece of what they perceive to be EVH history, wow, that's just the way it is, Kurt.
the market is dictated by the consumer. So the people that are willing to pay that much for a guitar are the ones that are driving the price up that much. Otherwise, they wouldn't be selling. So
hey, we've got a couple of other guys in the chat. We've got Warren, who is a good friend of the channel. He is in the chat, and he bought a new Eric Clapton guitar a week ago, and we debuted that video on the channel on Sunday. And apparently Brad went over there and stole it. So he's looking for. I swapped it.
Yeah, Warren, check the neck plate on that thing. Make sure if you see Brad's fingerprints on it, you'll know he's been lurking.
Yeah, we've got Arvin in the chat, who's a good friend of the channel as well. Thank you, Arvin. Always a pleasure, brother, to see you. Thank you. We appreciate all the support that you guys have done for the channel over the last few months and couple of years. You know, please share our channel with your friends. Just cut that link, share that link, and just throw it on your social media platforms and say, check out these guys. It's worth checking out, and we'd appreciate it because we want to get to 1,000 subs. So your help is really important there. Now I want to do a shout out to Kurt. I know I did an unboxing, but thank you, brother, for this T-shirt.
Hey, you know who else we got to thank? Cobra Kai Platoon for designing that bad boy.
Oh,
he killed it.
Cobra.
That thing is amazing.
And the quality of the T-shirt is good too. It's a good T-shirt. It's not a, you know.
No, it's comfortable.
A good one.
My wife, she told me, all right, it's been 3 days. Take it off. We need to wash it.
Hey, but Kurt didn't tell the true story. Kurt's wearing it to bed as well as to work.
So, yeah, for sure. And Andrew, with that being said, how many weeks do we have left on our subscriber contest we're doing?
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I thought what we would do is we would do the draw end of, we said 6 weeks, and I did a mental calculation the other day, and I'm kind of thinking...
Alan Garber?
Hey, Al. Is that the first or second week in April? It's either the first or second. Okay.
We'll post something on Instagram.
Yeah. Look. If you guys are watching a replay, we will definitely give you those dates. We're not a channel that's just saying that we're going to do this and not do it. You know, we are sincere and honest 99% of the time.
All right, hold on.
I've got to leave 1% for the mistakes.
1.5%.
I got Halen Fanatic in the chat. Renus hung in the chat. So is there a raid going on here? Well, so why are we being raided? Fruitcake Tony, Johnny Bean. Holy cow! You guys are making a hit.
What's going on? We're being raided.
Well done. Oh, well done. Well done. Well
Johnny
done.
Bean, thank you so much for the raid. Really appreciate it. Lenny Lou, Renus, David Ennis, Jeff T. Thank you so much, guys. That was the air raid horn. I had it queued up and ready to go.
My ear's still ringing.
So yeah, two weeks away, we'll do the T-shirt raffle.
Yeah, and as the advertising has stated, it's a T-shirt of your choice, and we'll pay for it and we'll ship it. And you can't get an easier competition than that. All you have to do is subscribe to the channel. And same thing with you guys that are rating us. Please, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, hit that subscribe button. We'd love it. We'd appreciate it.
Yeah, speaking of Johnny Bean, I was watching his show about a week ago, and he was showing some of the new, I think there's 2 new Eddie tribute T-shirts on the Van Halen store website. So a chance to win that T-shirt if you want. Tell your friends, even if they're not huge Van Halen fans, have them subscribe for you, and then take their T-shirt if they win.
Who isn't a Van Halen fan now? Oh my gosh! If you're not a Van Halen now, you
need to see a doctor. You need to see a doctor.
Yeah. Because this is the best way. This is the best way in celebrating a guy that gave us such a lot in music and an opportunity for us when we were growing up to just have some good times with friends and by ourselves listening to music. Eddie Van Halen, I'm going to keep saying it, Kurt. I'm going to keep saying it to the day I die. He is our Hendrix. He is our generation's Hendrix, and he'll only grow in stature and in status as that sinks in to the general broader population and people in the industry. Got an opinion on that?
Yeah, I do. How long was Hendrix? And I don't know those facts, believe it or not, but how long was Hendrix in the music industry?
Okay, 3 to 4 years. Not long.
Is that right there? You do the math. I think Eddie's going to be through the stratosphere as far as epic rock icon. I think as we get this newer generation get older into the 16, 17, 18-year-old, the times kind of when we were at the peak of our Van Halen-ness, those people are going to jump on board. Think about all the people like that were younger in the 2000s that are going to have kids, and they're going to tell their kids about Van Halen. I think it's just going to be bigger and bigger because the amount of people that were around when Jimi Hendrix was playing live and had live albums, those people are starting to peter off this earth. And so he is somewhat of only a legacy. Rarely do they have much video, where I think the stuff for Van Halen, we haven't even seen half of it. Just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah. And look, I agree with you. No argument from me, brother, at all. And I think as more and more information comes out, books maybe, some good books, that have been researched, and we don't know what Eddie was working on while he was sick too, so, we've got no idea. Right. But I think you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, we have shows like this. We got Fruitcake Tony's show, Johnny Bean's show, that just broadcast it, and all it takes is for one person to stumble across it, and it's hook, line, and sinker.
Actually, thank you very much, brother, for reminding me. So Fruitcake Tony's show, if you guys are members of our show here and follow our channel, if you guys haven't checked out, there he is. Fruitcake Tony's doing a show. I don't know what the frequency is. He had his debut show a couple of days ago. Check out Fruitcake Tony. He's got Johnny Bean on there. He had Halenville had Captain Smith on there as well. So, and Bent Tom. So, again, some cats who know their Van Halen stuff. So, let's take over the internet with Van Halen stuff.
There's plenty of stuff to talk about. And Fruitcake Tony, he's asking about the Women and Children First show. We're actually postponing it till next week. I got a a personal weekend that I'm doing, so I'm not available. So we're actually going to push it to next week. That's kind of why Andrew and I are on tonight, is to make sure people don't forget about us. But after we get done with the albums, we were just gonna talk about this, Andrew. It's probably a good time. After we get done with the albums, Andrew's and I's plan is to go through Live Without a Net, Live Right Here, Right Now. I also messaged him and thought about going through all the tracks that weren't tied to an album, Crossing Over, Up for Breakfast, all the special songs that were either added to the best of, or the ones that weren't tied to an album. I think I counted, there's like 8 of them. So we could probably run a show on those 8 songs. And then the books, I got oodles and oodles of books. So we may do just a full show on books and highlight special parts of books. And we're trying to get some guests on that were involved in putting these books together. And then, of course, talk about gear. That's the other big thing too. So there's lots to talk about.
Yeah. And I just want to make it clear. I'm not making a comparison, guys, between Eddie Van Halen and Jimi Hendrix. That's not what we're on about, or what I'm on about. I'm just saying, for me, for my generation, and I was listening to Hendrix when I was a young guy too, but Eddie was ours. Eddie was my generation's. He was just a few years older than me. He was producing music. So that's why I think he will be, in the not too distant future, our generation's Hendrix. So, but yeah, no comparisons. If anyone ever thought that I was making a comparison, no.
Yeah, and me too, Andrew. My point I was trying to make is Jimi Hendrix had 4 years of real influence at the time, and of course his influence can carry on with his CDs, albums. But with Eddie, he's 30 plus years of influence, which to me, just doing the math, it's a bigger domino effect that I think in the next 30 years he'll be definitely the one and only.
Yeah. And if you guys hang out and wait till the end of the show, we can show Brad. We've got Brad here hiding somewhere in some form or another. So we'll show you Brad. He's working. So, before we get on to some of the topics that we've got planned, you talking about your 5150 and a couple of articles, bro. I just want to share something with you and everyone else in the chat. I was talking to a good friend of mine at work today, and we were talking about passions and hobbies, and he picked up the fishing hobby over the last couple of months, and he's into it big time, and he spent a fortune buying all these expensive reels and rods and all that, and and I'm standing there and I'm going, I hear you, bro. I hear you. I know what it's like. I'm not a fisherman, but I hear you. Once you get into a hobby, you've got layers of where you can go with it. And but anyway, to cut the long story short, the reason why I do this show with you and Brad and Simon is because I enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot that, but it just became clearer to me when I was having the conversation. Oh, actually, yeah, I quite enjoy, yeah. I'm doing this because I enjoy it.
Yeah, well, I would agree with you. And the whole hobby thing, I go pedal to the metal whenever I have a hobby. I'm into golf, and I do predator hunting as well. and I go nuts. I read everything, I watch everything, I buy everything. It's ridiculous. But one of the things cool about this show is I have someone to share it with this hobby. Because my wife and kids don't particularly want to hear about what type of copper was used to wind around the pickup that Eddie had in a 79 backup guitar. They really don't care. But I find it fascinating, and the dogs don't talk back to me. So I come on the show and I can talk to you guys. That's the one of the things that drew me to Johnny's Discord was I got on there and was thumbing around, and I started writing some stuff, and then people were responding back. Robot Master Switch and Cobra Kai. And I'm like, oh man, these guys are just like me. And I write something down, they respond back. Most of the time, our opinions are pretty in line and similar. And man, I tell you what, if I walk down the street and walk by Robot Master Switch, I would probably know it was him, even though I'd never met him before, just because of, tech conversations we have had over the last, let's call it 9 months to a year. It's just really cool how many people I've unofficially met since kind of starting this whole journey.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, so no, Fruitcake Tony, we're not on this Friday because Kurt is he's away, so we've decided to postpone the show. So I'll send you the link for the show. So it's we've postponed it for a week, and we got Metal Mike in the chat. But I've got to tell you something. Bro. You, Cobra Kai, and Robot Master Switch have got a mortgage on the Johnny Bean Discord. I'm pretty certain.
It's like a Ponzi scheme, a pyramid scheme. We got money on it. The more followers, the more money we make.
Oh my gosh! Well, look, yeah. Like I said to you at the top of the show, I may not participate in the Discord as much as I should probably, but I lurk. I lurk in there and throw in a little comment and a little smiley. But look, most of the time when you guys are posting, most of the time when you guys are posting that stuff, I'm at work, so I've got to be a little bit conscientious.
Yeah, you don't want to get hurt, but you can tell everyone who's in the chat that's kind of how you found me. Not only me in the chat room on some of the other shows, but you recognize me from the Discord with just some of the stuff I posted, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I'm going to say this again too. Fruitcake Tony has his own channel, and he's been, broadcasting shows for a while. If anybody in the chat wants to do what we do on YouTube, get together with a couple of friends and just hang out and just share some opinions and some stories, just go for it. It's great. It's great fun. It's great fun. But be prepared, though. I'm going to tell you something. It's addictive. and you got to put some time away for it too, because you just can't wing it.
No. I put more I wing it at work and put the time and effort into this.
I do something similar.
The other thing too, I wanted to say, since Fruitcake Tony's on here, and I would love to be a guest on his show one of these days when it works for both of us. Being a co-host on this twice a month is a lot for me. I'm a busy guy with 3 kids at home and a wife that works full time. But having Johnny Bean and having Fruitcake Tony and having our show, I think it only helps all 3 of us, because we can pump his show, and if we're lucky, he'll pump our show. And we all know that Johnny does an amazing job pumping everyone else's show. Music Therapy Laz, he also does a show. He's a buddy of mine from the Discord. So we're all family, and I think the more shows we have, the tighter our content's going to be, and the harder we're going to have to work to come up with something unique. So I think it's awesome. I'm super excited.
Yeah. And we're all friends, and I like that too. And I think that's a credit to the type of Van Halen fans we are too. And I think we have to wear that badge with honor, because there are some lousy Van Halen fans out there. And most of the cats that I come across in the communities that I participate in are very, very cool, so let's all pat ourselves on the back, because we are those Van Halen fans. And I think the shout out that you said to Fruitcake Tony, to Laz, and to Johnny Bean, our daddy, he's our granddaddy,
The Godfather.
The Godfather, he'll always be an inspiration for our channel, because I have to say it, I suppose. The reason why I started my channel talking about Rolling Stones and British blues with Carl a couple of years ago was because of what he was doing on his channel. I thought, oh well, that's pretty good, so people don't mind someone just talking about things that you particularly like, because there's other people out there that dig it as well. So yeah, why not? And the fact is, Kurt, before I hand it over to you, before you show us some guitars, because you got 2 guitars to show us tonight, is it's a pleasure and it's a privilege to be part of this cool Van Halen community. I love it. I love it, bro.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking about doing a podcast.
What you going to call it?
Baby 5150.
Hey, you got some guitars to show. What are you going to start off with? Because I'm going to present you.
Start off with this one right here.
Okay, awesome.
All right,
I'm going to present you. So tell us all about that bad boy.
I will. So some of you guys know I stumbled across this Harley Benton guitar. I don't know if any of you guys in the chat have ever played one of these, but I've heard amazing things about them. And when I wrapped my hands around this thing, I was truly, truly impressed. This is my first Les Paul style guitar with the stop tailpiece, but this is obviously a low-end $200 guitar, I believe. But when I plug this thing in, I won't do it now because it's almost 10 o'clock here. I'll wake up the kids. But this thing played unbelievable. And to throw my Van Halen flair, I have the striped strap with the strap locks. I threw this chrome pickup cover.
Wow.
Eddie used to do that with some of his guitars. Replaced the humbucker. Here we are. With a Dragonfire vintage PAF. This is actually a 16 ohm output humbucker, so it's fairly high output.
Yeah.
All new pots. So I got EVH low friction Born 5K pots. This thing came with the little dime, probably 250 pots that had like no variation on them, and then CTS tone pots, new knobs. This is actually my third color. I just really couldn't find anything I wanted. I put a Graphtec bone nut on this thing, and
makes a
the
big
action.
difference. Those Graphtec nuts are awesome. That's flat, and man. Then that's low.
New switch.
I can't go limbo dancing under there. I want to go limbo dancing under there. I can't do it.
No one can do it. Maybe a worm. Look at that
That's
thing.
That's flat.
Look at that.
Wow.
So, if you guys are into lure, get a file kit, for nuts, and just problem is you can't give back, you can only take away. So you got to be careful. So awesome guitar. It's satin black.
Beautiful.
I think it looks killer. So very, very happy with this thing.
That's beautiful.
Any questions about that guitar? I know.
Can't go wrong with the Les Paul.
All right, we'll talk about this one too. So I showed this at the beginning of the first show that I was on with Johnny Bean. I purchased the body and the neck and some of the hardware pre October 6th, we'll call it. And this stuff came in literally like a week after Eddie passed away. And I immediately, and those of you who are on Discord, followed my progress. I posted pictures every day building this thing, but Warmoth neck, maple neck, and then K&E basswood body, and Seymour Duncan JB pickup.
Wow.
Floyd, I painted it, hand painted it, and it's, let's call it 86, 87 relic. So see if we can get close here without dinging it up. It's got, the big heavy wear marks on the arm. You can see all the stuff along the edge.
Beautiful.
I got my new 5150 picks. And then the back, I think, is really cool. There we go.
Wow.
So it's all worn down.
What's the Floyd you've got in there? Is that a reissue?
It's a licensed Floyd.
So with the copper thumb.
I added the copper fine tuners.
Fine tuners.
They were black. Yeah. You can see it's hard with the light there. The relicing around the pot. Of course, the headstock. I know Eddie's has the truss rod adjustment down below by the bottom of the neck, but this one's up top. It's not not the vintage nut up here, but I got cigarette burns here, and Cobra Kai. Him and I were talking today. Andrew, I'll give you a secret.
Yeah.
I can get there real quick. You ever seen these stain pens?
Oh yeah.
For touching up furniture?
Yes.
That's what I used on the headstock for the stains on the burn.
Do me a favor, bro, and show me your Floyd Rose. So those copper fine adjusters, you can buy those separately to make it look more like the whale tail.
Yep.
I need to do that with my EVH 5150.
$10 on eBay.
Oh, I got to do that.
Yeah, and then of course the back too. It's got the big brass block. Those are FU tone strings, and then my wire is actually black, and I painted it yellow to match Eddie's. Yeah.
I got to tell you one thing. Cool. You've got to have a brass block. I tell you, when I got my 5150, bro, it had the standard steel block, and I changed it with the brass block. Made a big difference. That's beautiful. I love that.
And then real quick, I'll show you the headstock on. This is also the same stain to get those cigarettes. Okay. And then if you notice, this too is on that mark is on his original headstock as well.
Beautiful.
But this isn't relic. This thing's like brand new looking.
Oh.
Anyway, yeah.
Look, mate. you know, that 5150. That's the pick for me. If I could come and do a Brad with one of your guitars, he's going to kill us.
I'm not sure.
He's going
Cobra Kai. What was that?
He's going to kill us.
Oh, I know. The 5150. I'm not sure if Cobra Kai's in here, but I think from the time I got the body, I had it done in 2 weeks, maybe a week and a half from start to finish. Maybe a week and a half.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it hard to paint? Metal Mike's asking that question.
No. You know, it was November, late October when I painted it. And so it was fairly cool out. I mean, I painted the white and black Frankie too. That was my first build. That was my very first guitar, the white and black Frankie. It was a Kramer Focus that I bought in 2002. And I changed it that way. I sanded that down, painted it. That was my first painted guitar. And I'm not the best handyman, and it was fairly easy. You just got to let it cure and then sand it, wet sand it.
Yeah. Yeah.
If
well,
any of you guys are on Johnny, you can get into custom guitars and scroll back to late October, November, and you'll see probably 50 photos of that guitar from bare wood to finish.
Yeah, always a pleasure seeing something that you see being built, and then all of a sudden, Kurt a few months later is showing it off as his pride and joy deserves to be.
Yeah, it is.
Hey,
and I thought it was cool that we put on the picture I put on Instagram, your 5150 and my 5150 next to each other.
Okay, well, my 5150 is just a, one out of the box. Just one out of the box. I've made a couple of changes to it. I've changed the pickup. I whacked out that Wolfgang in there. Never liked the Wolfgang. And I've got a JB in there as well. And love the JB. I love that round tone that you get as opposed to that sharp, icy tone that I was getting, Kurt, from the Wolfgang. So fully recommend that. And I, like Kurt, I've got the brass block in there. And I took out the what do you call it, the EVH Floyd Rose, and put a German Floyd Rose in there. But I have to do what Kurt's. Yeah, I've got to do what Kurt has done and change those fine tuners to brass ones.
Do you have an eBay account?
Yeah. Go on eBay.
I'll send you the link where I got mine.
Oh, thank you, bro. I would love that, because then I'll be very happy. And I've done a bit of reliquing on the neck there to sort of kind of dirty that up a bit, and also got the what is it? That string tree. There's a string tree there, and the obligatory. Oh, sorry about that. I wasn't.
Man, I thought we were friends. I thought we were friends.
Yeah. The obligatory bloody. Yeah, we are. We're brothers. Kramer sticker. Kramer sticker.
Well, Deckel.
Oh, look, man. Deckel, yeah. I love this. And everybody talks about the fact that, for years and years, we never had an opportunity to have anything like this, for a long, long time. And when I got this about 3 or 4 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, 2018, I felt like a 15-year-old boy when I bought it.
Oh, it's like you got a Corvette,
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I sometimes just stare at mine up on the wall when I'm working, just like, man, I've dreamed about that guitar for 20 plus years, and to have it like one sitting in my presence is maybe I'm weird, but it gives me chills. It's kind of cool. Other things
we all understand exactly where you're coming from.
Yeah. I put titanium saddle blocks in my Floyd too, and I also put titanium saddle screws and titanium nut screws as well from FU-tone. And if any of you guys watched Jeremy White's video he did on YouTube where he interviewed Tom Weber.
Yeah.
Interesting topic about Eddie, that none of his guitars had the brass block in them, but they did upgrade all FU-tone saddle screws, saddle blocks, and nut screws were all titanium. He said that they were breaking nut screws every 3 days until they switched to the titanium, and then they would last like the rest of the tour. That's how strong those things are. Because Eddie, if you guys don't know, he likes everything. If tight is 12 o'clock, he likes to turn it to like 3. And that was one thing Tom was saying is he tightens everything. I mean, literally down to the screws on the back plate to all the screws in his amp. He truly believes that if everything's tight, you'll get better tone. I mean, all the way to the screen on his amp head. If it's on, all the screws got to be tight as tight,
And that's why he liked his pickup being screwed into the body. It's that same principle.
Yeah, he always compared it to laying a guitar on a coffee table. If you lay a guitar flat on a coffee table and strum it, it just resonates, through the whole coffee table because it's got all that contact.
Yeah. Hey, bro. So one of the other things that we're going to talk about is I don't know if you got So lead us through, because I think there's some interesting little tidbits coming through. And we were talking in the green room, guys, and as usual, the Rev has prepared himself diligently to the task required. And filtering all this information and articulating it well for you all. So sit back and pay attention to the highlighted bits and pieces from this article.
All right. So, as you guys know, back probably 2010, maybe 2012, Mitch Molloy came out with that small documentary on YouTube talking about how he was the third singer in Van Halen. And it was well done YouTube video, but there really wasn't a whole lot of interviews that were done. And all of you guys that know Van Halen, it's a tight camp. Like nothing gets out of that camp.
Yep.
I think Caleb Rappaport or Nerd Halen said the CIA should be benchmarking with the Van Halen group because of how secure things are within that organization. So anyway, the Mitch Molloy thing came out, and I think it was probably more chatter than what facts we knew that he gave us in that small documentary. He did do a couple of interviews, really only answered a few questions and didn't really do a deep dive. So once again, there's another article online. So if any of you guys haven't read the recent article on Rolling Stones, after the show, get in there and read it. It's a must read. I put the link on the Johnny Bean Discord. But Mitch Molloy kind of gave his full experience with being the third lead singer of Van Halen. And Andrew and I thought it would be a good opportunity just to kind of highlight some of the stuff that we took away from the interview. And then, of course, ask you guys in the chat what you think, what you thought, if you read it, or what you knew or didn't know. So, of course, we all know that he had first-class air flight to L.A. in a limo one cool thing that wasn't in the original documentary is when he pulled up the 5150, all the bandmates were all lined up waiting for him. So Alex, Michael, and Eddie all sitting there waiting for him. And as soon as Mitch Molloy got out of the limo, Eddie walked up to him and pulled his sunglasses off and looked at his eyes. And he said, "Hey, I just want to see your eyes." And then he put his sunglasses back on. What does that tell you? Like, what was the meaning of that?
Oh, well, look, you know, I want to see someone's eyes too, you know, I just always have this conversation in the back of my mind years and years ago when my father said, you know, it's disrespectful to talk to people with sunglasses on, you know. Sunglasses are for outside, you know, when you're out doing something, but when there's people around, take your sunglasses off. So, you know, I think he's got a point.
Yeah, firm handshake, look me in the eye when you're talking to me. I think Eddie wanted to, maybe this has to do with his culture, maybe he wanted to, like, connect with him, you know.
Good.
Not to be sexual, but, you know, when you look into your wife's eyes or your girlfriend's eyes, like, it's a connection, you know. So I think he was wanting to connect with him and, you know, make sure he's human. You need to work on that beard. Anyway, so I thought that was kind of cool. And then Eddie said, like, let's start playing. Are you ready? And he's like, yeah. So they immediately went into 5150 Studios and started jamming. And Andrew, why don't you talk about the cabinet?
Yeah. Well, he also asked him, he said, do you want to just hang out first? Do you want to just hang out first? And yeah. You know, so it was like, you know, again, being that lovely host, you know, which sort of resembles that conversation that we discussed a couple of shows ago, bro, when he's giving that interview about Diverdown. You know, is this a good time to talk? You know, hey, it's just the world's best guitarist on the phone. You know, you want to talk now?
He's humble, hospitality. You know, he asked him, "Do you want to chill out?" But yeah, it's the same thing. I think Eddie, man, he really honored people's time.
Yeah, and you know, Mitch said, you know, to his credit, oh well, you know, hey, you know, let's rock and roll, let's go for it, and so I'm going to just mention one thing that I found really intriguing, and again, guys, this is why we do these shows and why we hang out on the Johnny Bean Discord, because the stuff's coming through. So when Mitch described how Eddie had four 4x12 cabinets in a square facing each other, all mic'd up, I thought, what, that, for an audition. Well, probably it wasn't it was probably how he had his cabs at that period of time, wouldn't it, Kurt? It's just probably how you know, how it was set up. And I thought that was fascinating, because my question to you, Rev, and anybody, has anyone seen photographs of that?
No, but I'm going to look for it. In fact, while you're talking, some of it might be in here.
I didn't look.
Those of you, if you don't have this book, new printings are coming out in June, and we're going to have Andrew on the show. Andrew Bennett. But there might be some photos of the four cabinets in here, so I'll have to find it and post it on Instagram. But when they started playing, Mitch Molloy said he was louder than God. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So he was like, it was surreal to be in this studio thinking they recorded all these albums in here. And he was like, they started playing and he's like, they sounded like Van Halen. Of course, we all know how tight they are. And of course, Eddie and Al probably practiced and jammed more than we thought they did. They probably were always in sync, but he said they were louder than God, which I thought was pretty cool. And then they handed him a mic, or they had a microphone for him to use. Andrew, what'd they give him?
Okay, so you guys need to read the article, and we'll put a link to the article after this show. After I've had dinner, I'll put a link to it because it's fascinating. So if you guys know anything about mics, it was a Shure SM57, and this is how Mitch describes it. It was the biggest piece of crap microphone ever. I never used one even in high school, and here I am. I'm auditioning for Van Halen through a SM57.
It wasn't this one.
No, it wasn't that one. You can bet your butt. Show that one. Show that up, mate. I didn't.
You can, hold on a second.
You can bet your bottom dollar it wasn't that one.
See what that says, Lenny Lou?
Yeah.
Mr.
Roth.
Yeah. And that doesn't say what it is. I can't read it. Beta 58A.
That'd probably be a $3,000 microphone.
They gave him a Shure 57, and Andrew and I were talking in the green room. Eddie, he had this white and black guitar that he put together with bubble gum and duct tape and, zip ties. Was he frugal? Was he a penny pincher? He actually says in this article that his accountant said, you have a money problem. And what it is you have too much money. So go buy how much is a decent microphone? $200?
Oh, okay, so I've got a Sennheiser here, $200, $300. Yeah. It gets you a good one.
So here he is competing with four PV 5150 heads sandwiched together in the middle of the room, and they give him a yard sale microphone.
A karaoke microphone.
Yeah, karaoke.
Yeah. And look, it's this attention to detail, I suppose, that Van Halen nuts like us are getting excited about. The fact that Mitch Molloy went and rehearsed and hung out with one of the greatest rock bands ever in the world at the time is pretty interesting, pretty far out actually. To be fair, what was the first song?
Fruitcake Tony says Mitch has a great voice, and he says we'll never know what happened. But Tony, if you haven't read this article, it answers quite a few questions. I hope you can stay on to listen to us wrap up on what we think the article told us. But I agree with you. And if you go onto YouTube and listen to the Panama recording that he did with Van Halen, it's incredible. And he has an amazing
song.
voice.
That was the first song they did. Yeah. So
anyway,
you continue, bro. Continue with your synopsis of the article.
So they jammed Panama. You Really Got Me. Ed played him When It's Love, and he didn't know that song, which I thought was kind of interesting. So the jam. Just Eddie and Mitch Molloy stayed in the studio, and they went in, and Eddie started playing piano. That's when he played him When It's Love, and he had him try to sing it, and he never really got it. But Eddie actually told him after the chorus of When It's Love, he said, "You're better than Sammy." He actually told him, "Your voice is better than Sammy." And later on in the article, which I probably won't get to, Eddie said the thing about Garycherone. So, of course, I think Mitch Molloy is probably being a little bit humble here, saying that Eddie was just being nice, and he says that about everyone. But if you guys have heard any of his music, you know, right now he's touring with Great White, right? Is that right? And the guy's got a phenomenal voice. And I don't want to jump ahead here, but I was super excited about Jerome joining Van Halen because my older brother, Extreme, that was one of his favorite bands. And I'm disappointed that they only made one album. That album wasn't the greatest. I still enjoy it. Live, they were great. But I think if Mitch Molloy would have stayed with the band, they probably would have been awesome.
Yeah, and that was one thing. Yeah, and that was one thing that Kurt and I agreed on. I suppose what we should probably do is we won't tell you a lot of the stuff in this article. You know, we're just giving you guys a bit of a brief synopsis. You guys have to go out there and do the hard work too, and actually sit down with your coffee and spend 20 minutes going through it. We're just sharing the information with you guys, and I'm so happy that Kurt passes a lot of the stuff on to me in the first place. But to be fair, I think from what I've heard of Mitch Molloy and the way that he interacts, I think he would have been phenomenal.
Yeah. So, kind of a couple things I want to get across tonight without ruining the article is he was not impressed with the music that Eddie had written for Van Halen 3. Not impressed at all. Go ahead. Not impressed at all. And what I've read too since, that Sammy says a lot of the songs on Van Halen 3 were leftover from Balance that they trashed. And in here, I'll tell you guys that Eddie said he talked about his addiction, and he was telling me that he couldn't write unless he was buzzed. So he was in a really dark place, and his therapist was trying to help him get through that writing block due to not having alcohol. So I wonder if Eddie really was having trouble writing music, and he went back to the vault and pulled some stuff out of the quote unquote, I don't want to call it trash can, but maybe stuff that they trashed and didn't use on Balance. And he probably thought, man, I wrote this stuff when I was half buzzed, like, let's use it. But man, you wonder if it flopped because he picked the wrong music.
I'm just going to go a little bit left field here, bro, and ask you a question. So, in my opinion, when I read this article, in my opinion, in this music here, Carnal Knowledge, 5150, just goes to show then how good that music in that era of Van Halen was, because Sammyhagar was critical to that whole music, that whole songwriting process. And if you go back and look at all the articles and all the interviews, Eddie even agrees too. So the fact that Sammy wasn't there to help in that process is a sad thing.
Yeah,
but this music stands alone. Then, as I'm going to go and listen to this music again with even more fresher ears, Kurt.
Yeah, and you think about, if you guys have read Ted Templeton's book, he raves about David Lee's lyrical genius and how he can put words to music. And if you lump Fair Warning, 1984, 5150, and For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge. Maybe Diverdown in there if you want. That's pretty powerful music writing right there in that block of less than 10 years, But so, he done some stuff off Van Halen 3. Obviously, Mitch he went and saw him live, so he probably heard some of the songs on stage that Eddie showed him, a few years back, or, a year prior, which was kind of crazy. They also brought in Glenn Ballard and Desmond Child to help do some writing. And one of the songs that they picked when Mitch was there, Mitch said it was a bad song. I was like, it's okay. I'm not sure. And I think him and Eddie kind of went back and forth, and there wasn't any chemistry like there was when Sammy Hagar walked in the room and they immediately hit it off. Like, they probably could have played for 10 hours when Sammy walked in for the first time, and there wasn't that chemistry with Mitch and Eddie. And he doesn't really say it in the article, but that's kind of what I'm getting at, is there was writer's block with Ed, and I think Mitch was having a hard time even putting stuff to paper because he wasn't getting the stuff that Ed was showing him. So what do you think about that? So Ed handed him a piece of music and said, "This is crap. Can you go fix it?" And he sent Mitch Molloy home. And when Mitch wrote, "It's the Right Time." So if you guys haven't heard that song, I'm assuming if you're a Van Halen nut, it's Eddie and Al on the instrument, and then Mitch wrote the lyrics and sang along with it. But that song is very similar to the unreleased song from the Gary Cherone era of what's it called? I just had it here. A second. That's Why I Love You. Have you heard that one, Andrew?
Yep.
Yeah. So those two
Thanks for the
songs are like,
subject,
they're the same song, different arrangement, different lyrics. So as we move along past the article, the whole MTV thing comes down with David Lee Roth, and Mitch Molloy is at home in Nashville, and he sees this whole thing go down and before his eyes, and he decides it's not the right time, and I'm not going to do this. And I thought one thing cool about the article is they included, if you want to, there you go. They included the actual letter that Mitch Molloy's manager sent to Van Halen, basically saying, I'm not going to take your guys' offer to be here. What's that?
Do you want to read?
You want me to read it
later? Yeah,
I'll read it. Okay, September 11th, 1996. That's the year I graduated from high school. Can you believe it? Wow.
No.
Ray Daniels from Mitch Molloy. That was the delayed response. Mitch has asked me to pass along and regrets to do this, to do his strong commitment and excitement about his solo career in Nashville. He will have to respectively pass on the opportunity to be considered as the new lead vocalist in Van Halen. After spending time with Eddie and the guys, Mitch feels a strong bond that he will carry with him throughout his whole life. Thanks for the opportunity. Best of luck with your endeavors, and please pass along our best to the band. One other thing, Andrew, that I didn't talk about is he was in Nashville doing a country music stint, and he didn't want anyone in the country music industry to find out that he had auditioned for Van Halen or had been in the band for 2 days. So he kept it quiet because he thought it would tarnish his future and that people would always tie him to the rock scene when he was down there trying to do the country music thing. So in closing, one of the things that I want to talk about, and I may be speculating here, but it was an eye opener for me is a year later, they were in Nashville playing live, and Eddie got him backstage passes. He went to see him live. And after the show, Eddie was pissed off, and he was kicking stuff and yelling and talking about how the fans aren't getting it, and the people just don't know how good we are, and we're better than that. And I think that was the tall tale sign of things weren't working with Garycherone. And Eddie always talked about how he was okay failing, or he didn't care if the critics didn't like it, or he doesn't care if the fans don't like it. He just wants to make music. But I honestly think it bothered him that people didn't latch on to the Van Halen 3 era. And that's one of the reasons why they split up. What do you think?
And that's proof. That's proof. That's the proof there, because we're just reporting what we're reading, guys. So and these are reputable sources from the horse's mouth, as they say. So that's a telltale thing for Eddie to go out there and say those things. The fans aren't getting it. They just don't.
Yeah, it says right here, Ed was mad, really frustrated, all kinds of expletives. So Ed was dropping F-bombs left and right.
Yep.
So one of the cool things is, as I said, Ed had a money problem. Ed offered to give Mitch a bunch of money because Mitch was struggling to record an album, and he needed some money. And Ed said, let me give you a check. Let me give you a check. He says, no, don't give me a check. I appreciate the offer, but I'm good. And Ed said, my accountant says I have a money problem. I have too much money. And they laughed. Well, he sent him a check. And Mitch was very, very appreciative of the check because it helped him finish his album. So thank you, Mike, for joining us. So
what a legend. What a guy.
Oh, yeah. Eddie said, you're a good-looking guy, you're the nicest guy in the world, and you got an amazing voice. And I think we all know Ed's a pretty good judge of character, so he was probably right. And one thing, too, is I don't want to spoil the whole article, but Eddie talked about this guy named Gary was being considered in the band, and he's a pretty well-known guy, and he has some experience. But Eddie didn't want to go down that path. He wanted to find someone new and that didn't have a past. So that's why he wanted Mitch. So once again, in here, this article is almost saying Gary was a second option. He wasn't the first option. And also, Gary's manager, Ray Daniels, was quoted to say that he tried to get Gary to be the lead singer of Queen, and he told him not to do the Van Halen thing, but it ended up happening. And that's right here in the article.
Yeah. Very interesting. So are you telling me then, Kurt, are you telling me, you don't have to answer it if you don't want to. Reading between the lines, Van Halen as a band made a mistake?
I think obviously they did make a mistake. They had one tour that didn't do too well. My opinion, I thought that show was amazing, and I had a great time. I took my wife. We had an amazing time. I thought to hear him sing Romeo Delight and Unchained and I'm the One and Why Can't This Be Love? I thought it was awesome.
That was my tour.
And
that was the tour I saw Van Halen on.
Yeah, there you go. World tour. I'll show some pictures real quick. That guy that we were talking about at the beginning of the show owns this guitar right here. This exact guitar that was used on this song and this video.
Holy moly.
How cool is that going to be?
Make sure you guys have got make sure you guys have got subscriptions to the channel, because we're going to get that guy on.
Yep. So anyway, I think they did make a mistake because they had one album, one tour, and I don't think any of us will ever know if they let Gary go or if Gary quit or it was a mutual thing. But if any of you guys are in sports, if you think about like a quarterback of a football team, if they bring someone in off the free agency and he only plays for them one season and they don't win the Super Bowl, it's probably a mistake.
Where was Mitch when Eddie flipped out behind backstage?
Where was he at?
Yeah, where was Mitch? Was he around? I can't
He was
quite
backstage
remember.
with him.
That's okay, right? So I'm just searching. So that was probably something for Mitch to see. Maybe that was Eddie saying to Mitch, oh, maybe I made a mistake.
Well, in the article, after Gary left, Eddie called Mitch and asked for advice, and Mitch said, "Call Dave."
Yeah,
it's a great article, man. There's a ton of stuff in here. We literally could have really dissected it for an hour and a half. Really, it's really, really good.
What we'll do is, because we don't want to spoil it for the rest of you. We don't want to spoil it for the rest of you Van Halen cats. So go and check it out. If you're a member of the Johnny Bean Discord, you already have the link. Be patient. I'm going to go and have dinner soon, and I'll put a link on this video to that article, and we'll be back. And we might even I think what we should do before we start the woman
and children first
show, what we'll do is we'll do a synopsis again and a conclusion of this article, because by then everybody that's in the chat should have read it. So, because there's a couple of things I want to make, but I don't want to spoil. I don't want to, because it's a sharing experience here, what we're doing. It's important that you guys do some homework and hard work too.
Yeah. And I hope I didn't share too much, but there were some big pieces that I think everyone needed to hear, because there may be some people that won't read it. But
I think you've whet the appetite, because that's going to force a lot of people to read it.
Yeah. I'm weird. I read everything that comes out that's related to Van Halen. Everything.
So this is the title of the article. If you guys want to search the article now, while I'm if you don't want to wait, if you search
Rolling
that article
Stones.
there.
Rolling Stones.
Yep. Did Van Halen have a fourth singer? If you Google that, Mitch Molloy, you're going to find it.
Yep. Good read, buddy. Good read. I thought, and when I sent it to you, I thought, I'm not just going to send you like stuff we've already heard and stuff anyone could spew out. If I send you something, it's going to be impactful. I hope you know that.
Absolutely. So I'm thinking, we're going to change your name from the Rev to the Inspector.
Lenny Lou already called me an inspector, where she was talking about Michael Anthony's bass, and she's like, "I can see your office right now. You probably have a big cork board with a bunch of pictures and a bunch of yarn and string tied to each one, and like a FBI agent." And I told her I do.
Awesome. Okay, yeah, thumbs up, guys. Yeah, we appreciate it. Thank you, Orders to Go. We've got our good friend, our host to the Sunday show, Simon Williams, in the chat. Good to see you, buddy. Always a pleasure. Thank you for hanging out with us. We just thought we'd jump on and spend an hour and a half talking about Van Halen and a few other bits and pieces. We're not going to be able to do the scheduled 5150 show because Kurt, the Rev, has an opportunity to go and spend some quality time away. So we're rescheduling that show a week from when it should be played. But if you guys hit the notification button, you'll catch Simon, Brad, myself, maybe even the Rev, and Michael also talking about Dark Side of the Moon on Sunday, New Zealand time, which is Saturday, North American time.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
That makes excellent sense. You should be a broadcaster.
Oh my gosh. And we've got Alan. Thank you, Alan. Thank you for joining us. So,
Cobra Kai.
Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai.
Oh, man, that shirt's awesome, man.
Oh,
Cobra Kai,
yeah,
I got to talk to you about it. We're a 5150 show shirt, maybe springtime.
Oh, thank you. Oh, yeah. And I'm going to do it, Kurt. I'm going to wear this for 3 days and 3 nights.
I wore mine so much, I took it off, and it stood up in the corner. It didn't even fall over.
Oh my gosh! Look, and if you guys haven't subscribed to Fruitcake, where is he? Fruitcake Tony's channel. If you hit his comment there, and that'll go to his channel. He's got a Van Halen show as well.
Yep, Halenville and Fruitcake Tony. I'll put it on my Instagram for you too.
Yeah. Awesome. And Warren. Get well, brother. Get well. We're all thinking of you, brother. We're all thinking of you, and we're all brothers and sisters too. So yeah, you get well, bro. Thank you. Okay. I think we've done well. I'm just going to say quickly goodbye to everybody, and then my co-host here is going to go through and say goodbye to you all personally. Thank you for joining us. It's been a pleasure as usual. Kurt, thank you, brother.
You betcha. So let's thank Arvin, Cobra Kai Platoon, Ellen, Fruitcake Tony, James Gum, Lenny Lou, Orders to Go, the third and most Van Halen fan on the planet, Simon T. Williams, and then Warren Graham Music. Did I miss anyone else?
Look.
Jeff T.
Johnny Bean.
Johnny
Brad.
Bean.
Brad Cook, because we know he's going to watch this. Oh, and look, and hold on, you guys, hold on. I said if
Bradley M. Cook.
Hold on, I told you guys that Brad will make a special appearance. Here he is, all the way from Melbourne, Australia. Here he is, Bradley Cook. Does he what? James?
Yeah.
Does he what?
Grab your 5150 for a thumbnail, and then we'll let these fine people get on their way so you can eat dinner. There we go. Thumbnail. Awesome, brother.
Cobra Kai.
Thank you, guys.
Cobra Kai.
He's
May
the
the
man.
tone be with you.
That's right.
All right. TikTok, time to rock. Peace. God bless everyone. Thank you for hanging out with us.